Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the AUTOBROVADO channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at this 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT convertible. Let's get into the review. Mitsubishi introduced the Eclipse for the 1989 model year, for which it spans over 3 generations until Mitsubishi canceled the model in 2011. This specific example is the GT Spyder convertible, the top trim all the way back in 2001 with power windows, power locks, and many more features. The Eclipse was another rendition of a sporty convertible designed to compete with the Toyota Solara, the Chrysler Sebring of the time, of which were somewhat lackluster for performance and style. Now, let's just start off with the looks. I think this is one of the coolest looking convertibles out there. Gorgeous lines that flow straight to the back of the vehicle. A nice stylish spoiler. I think it's one of the coolest convertibles from the year 2000. Alright, now I'm just going to do a walk around, and let me just say, I think this is one of the coolest early 2000s convertible or coupe that was on the market. I mean, you look at the Chrysler Sebring, Toyota Solara, I mean, even like mid-engine sports cars like the MR2, I think this looks really cool. It is really good, up and running. I think it's one of the coolest looking convertibles out there. And just another thing I really like, the way it's designed. It's not trying to be overly aggressive or anything special like that. It's a convertible, it's fun, it looks cool, it's great. One of the funnest cars you can drive for something like this, of this age. Alright, so we're going to be getting in now, and one thing I just wanted to point out, so we do have the top down right now, and this is technically a 4-seater car, but I just want to show you the space from the front seat to the rear. You have none. This is meant for some small children you can throw back there. This is really just a 2-seater car. I mean, they are usable, so. All right, now we're gonna get in. Okay, here we go. So, everything in here, black interior. Now, obviously, hot sunny day. These seats are blisteringly hot. One thing I'll point out, it's really cool. There's no buttons on the steering wheel. You know, some might say, you know, this is a driver-focused car. You know, nothing to interrupt you. You know, I think it's a really cool layout. It does have a very weird-looking dash. Everything's laid out very weird, but I like it. I think it's a really cool dash. So, one thing to keep in mind, this is the 2nd generation Eclipse. There were 3 generations, and the 2000 model year was the first year they introduced the 2nd generation. So one thing they did start off with was a sport manual, whatever you call it, manual mode. You can select your gears and stuff like that, and I'll just tell you, once we get out on the road and you hear that engine with the top down, it is a real treat. It's wonderful. Obviously, you have your driver comforts like your ashtray for storing coins, or cup holders, and the center console as well. It's rather small, but you know, you can store stuff in there. Nice to have. However, the owner has installed an aftermarket head unit for audio functions, Bluetooth, calling, stuff like that. But other than that, it's fairly basic switchgear, so very usable. Now, I did talk about that sport manual mode. This is a 4-speed automatic, and I will tell you, these are some of the longest gears in a 4-speed I've ever felt. First gear is something up to like 40 miles an hour. It's just such a long gear. Now, one thing also, this car does have cruise control, which was an option on this car, unbelievably, for 2001. Many cars at the time did have cruise control, which wasn't a really crazy option, but and I did say earlier, this car has electronic windows and locks, and yes, they work very well. So it is a rather sparse interior. You do have vinyl, you could call them leatherette seats, but other than that, it's a really livable convertible. You can drive it every day, not have to worry about it. There is quite a large trunk, so there's really nothing to worry about. And obviously the rear seats are not exactly usable all the time, but in a crunch, they're there, you can use them. And just looking from the outside, I think this is a really cool interior. It's cozy, it's boxed in, it feels sporty. It's something that a lot of the other cars at the time just didn't have. It was a real big factor in mind when you were looking at to buy this car from new. Another thing I wanted to point out is this car is 19 years old. These are vinyl leatherette seats, whatever you'd like to call them, and they've held up so well. It's amazing. There's no tears, no scratches, obviously wear and tear like normal, and this is a convertible, which is amazing. So these seats have lasted quite a long time. All right, now under the hood. So this is Mitsubishi's 3-liter V6, 24 valve, with variable valve timing, which is one of the first on these cars. Now, the owner tells me that this specific car has 110,000 miles on it. And I'll tell you, I got to drive it around for a little bit for the first time, and the motor feels strong. 100,000 miles later, 20 years, it's been sitting. It's been doing just fine. In terms of engine performance, so in 2001, Mitsubishi claimed that this 3-liter V6 made 200 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. And I'll tell you, 20 years later, it feels just that good. Made it to a 4-speed, single-clutch automatic transmission. You can really wind it out every gear. It feels amazing. And the one thing I really like from cars from 20 years ago, they don't bother with covering everything up with plastics, anything like that. You have the intake manifold out here in the open, no hiding anything. It's not trying to be anything else that it's not, and we really like that. Same thing with the valve cover, spark plugs as well. No hiding it with plastics, no gimmicks, no nothing. What a cool engine to look at. Well, we've taken an in-depth look at this super cool 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. Now it's time to get it out on the road for a drive. Everybody, we're about to take the Eclipse on a drive. Here we go. Getting in, top down, of course. Start her right up, and it starts right up, even 20 years later. All right, belt on. Here we go. Initial throttle response is just amazing, and I guarantee you that this is not cable throttle, but I mean the way they've got it set up, I mean instant throttle response. It really shows you that this is a driver's convertible. Now just sitting at the light, you know, nothing's rattling, nothing's shaking. This is 20 years old. It's amazing. Mitsubishi has really done a good job with their, you know, quality of, you know, engine sound, vibration, everything. Everything's balanced very well. All right, we're gonna do a pull from second gear. Here we go. We're about to put it to the floor in a second. 3,000, and there we go. Power's building, naturally aspirated. What a sound. Oh, wow. It sounds amazing. All right, downshift.
There's probably some holes in my exhaust fan that sound even better.
Oh, yeah?
Like that.
Bringing it up to redline is just a treat. I mean, the power slowly builds, revving and revving and revving, bring it all the way up to drop it off again for the next gear. It's really a treat. What a wonderful motor, what a wonderful driving experience. Top down, wind in your hair, engine revving its heart out. Wow, just so cool. All right, so just driving around normally, it's really livable. You know, not too much engine noise. I mean, other than, you know, just, you know, slight vibrations. But then again, this is a 20-year-old car. It's held up really well. Materials, everything. All right, we're going to do a pull from first gear. We're at 3,000 RPM. We're about to hit it. Slowly roll on.
4 gears is pretty solid.
Wow. Power builds and builds. Oh. That wasn't even full throttle. It's really enjoyable. We're gonna do a few downshifts from fourth. Now we're in third, second. So there's no cars around. We're in first gear in manual mode. We're turning about 2,500 RPM. We're about to mat it in a second. I'm gonna roll into it. Here we go. Builds. Oh, and the RPMs just drop off. Oh, what a wonderful sound. You know, it's really nice driving around. You know, you get all this driving experience, fun, everything. You know, nothing to distract you. No buttons, no switches, knobs, dials, no screens. It's really a true analog driving experience. Not something you can get today pretty much anymore. guys, that was a truly amazing driving experience. A truly analog sports car, convertible, whatever you call it. And I'll tell you, it is one of the most fun I've had in a car in a long time. And now we're gonna give you a little treat. We're gonna give you a couple of juicy revs. Let me hear it. Well, everyone, that is a wrap to this review. I had so much fun driving this car, checking inside and out. It was just an amazing driving experience. Such a cool car, something you don't see often anymore. I really hope you enjoyed this review, and as always, come back for more content. I hope to see you again in the next video.